The slave market on planet Dravik-9 was loud and dirty. Creatures from different galaxies shouted prices, argued, and made deals. The air smelled of smoke. Blood and metal, traders walked between cages, choosing slaves like meat in a butcher. Shop, in the far corner of the market, was a small cage. It was made of black steel and locked with 10 energy bars. Inside the cage sat a strange alien girl. She had silver skin, glowing blue eyes, and short white hair. She looked young. Maybe 15 or 16 in human years, but no one knew her age, her name, or her planet. She did not speak. She did not scream. She only stared at everyone as if watching their soul. The traders called her the untamable one. No chain could hold her, no drug could control her. For buyers tried to take her in the past, 3 died. One lost his mind and now crawls in Sector 7, whispering her name. Now, the traders had enough. She's useless. One shouted, no one wants her. She eats but gives nothing back. Said another. We'll cut her up and sell her meat by the kilo, said the butcher. Laughing, the others agreed. They sharpened their blades and prepared the table. Inside the cage, the girl did not move. She just watched them, calm, silent, strange. Her eyes glowed brighter, but no one noticed. Suddenly, a loud engine roared overhead. A small, broken ship landed in the dust near the market. Its left engine sparked. Its right wing was half missing. The hatch opened and a man stepped out. He was human, dirty, tired, and thin. He wore a cracked spacesuit and limped as he walked. People stared. Humans were rare out here, and usually rich, but this one looked poor, almost dead. He came to the market slowly. Looking around, he passed the meat stall, the weapons stall, the alien pets. Then he stopped. His eyes fell on the cage. He saw the girl inside for a moment. The whole market went quiet. Even the wind seemed to stop. He walked to the cage and crouched down. The girl looked at him, not with hate, not with fear, God, but curiosity. The human said nothing. Then he whispered, how much for her? The traders laughed. She's not for sale. We're butchering her in an hour. She's dangerous. Human, not worth it. The man looked down, thinking. Then he reached into his suit and pulled out a fuel cell. It glowed weakly. But it was enough to power a small ship for one last jump. He held it up and said this. For her, the traders stopped laughing. They looked at the cell real fuel. Clean, pure. They argued for a moment, then nodded. Deal. They said, take her and go die together. The cage opened. The girl stepped out slowly. Everyone waited for her to attack, but she didn't. She walked beside the human quietly as they reached his ship. The girl spoke her first words. Why did you save me? The man looked at her and said, because no one else would. They entered the ship. The engines groaned. The lights flickered. He plugged in the fuel cell. The ship shook and lifted into the sky. They left Dravik-9, and the market disappeared. Behind them, inside the cockpit, the man sat in the pilot's chair. The girl sat near the window, watching stars pass by. The ship's AI voice came alive. Warning, it said. Passenger energy unknown. Warning, it repeated. Pilot has 3% life support left. The human smiled weakly. He looked at the girl. She looked back. You're dying, she said. He nodded. I was all ready. Dying before I found you, he replied. For a moment, neither spoke. Then the girl placed her hand on the control panel. A soft light came from her fingers. The fuel bar rose by 10%. The air got warmer. The AI went silent. The man stared. The girl whispered, you saved me. Now I save you. The stars outside grew brighter. But something dark followed them. A shadow ship, unseen, waiting, hunting. The story had only just begun. Asterisk, darkness, cold, silence. The man opened his eyes slowly. The stars were still. Outside the window, but something had changed. His breath was shallow. His hands were shaking. And the fuel gauge blinked red, 0%, whispered the ship's AI. Life support failing? He looked to his side. The girl was gone. Only the soft glow of her presence remained. A fading light near the ship's engine room. He tried to stand, but his legs failed him, crawling. He moved down the hallway. Each breath felt heavier than the last. His fingers burned against the cold floor. Then he saw her. She was kneeling beside the fuel core, her hands inside it, glowing like twin stars. The ship hummed quietly, a sound it hadn't made in years. "What are you doing?" he asked, voice weak. She turned slowly, not surprised, not scared, calm, like she had expected him. "I'm keeping us alive," she said. Her eyes pulsed blue as she removed her hands. The fuel bar rose, not by much, but enough. The lights flickered back on. The heat returned. The man collapsed against the wall, half smiling. "You're not just a prisoner, are you?" he asked. She didn't answer. Instead, she looked at her own hands. "They made me into something," she said, but they didn't know what. He watched her, breathing slower now. "Why help me?" he asked. "You don't know me?" She looked at him, her voice almost a whisper. "You didn't look at me like the others. You didn't see a monster." For a while, neither of them spoke, just the soft sound of the engine and stars. Passing outside, then the ship beeped. A message flashed on the screen. "Bounty alert subject. XJ13 reward. 9 million credits dead." Only the man stared. So did the girl. Silence fell again, heavier this time. "That's you?" he asked. She nodded slowly. "I was built in a lab, not born," she said. "I escaped before they could finish programming me." The man stood up, his body still weak. He turned off the alert, then looked at her and said, "I'm not turning you in." She tilted her head, confused. Why not? He walked back to the cockpit. "You gave me time," he said. "Now I'm giving you freedom," but freedom was never free. The bounty alert had already been seen. Somewhere deep in space, a shadow moved, a hunter ship activated, fast and silent. I locked onto their ship's ID. Meanwhile, inside their ship, the man made tea from recycled water. It tasted like metal, but he didn't care. He handed a cup to the girl, who sniffed it, unsure. "This is what humans drink?" she asked. "Yeah," he smiled, "when they're not dying or fighting." She took a sip and closed her eyes. "It's strange," she said, "but warm." He nodded. "That's what matters sometimes." Then came another beep, louder this time. The radar blinked red. Another ship was closing in. "Warning," said the AI. "Tracking signature detected, unknown class." The man rushed to the controls. His hands flew across buttons. No response. Weapons offline. The girl stood behind him. "They found me," she said quietly. "They'll kill you for helping." He didn't answer. He just looked at her, then out the window at the enemy ship growing larger. 1 minute until contact, 50 seconds, 40. The human opened a hidden panel and pulled out a small stasis pod. He looked at her. "Get in," he said. "I'll hide you. They won't scan your energy in here." She shook her head. "They'll know anyway. Trust me," he said. "I've smuggled worse." With one last look, she stepped inside. The pod sealed. Her glow faded to the ship's scanners. She was just frozen cargo. The enemy ship docked, airlock opened, 3 armored aliens stepped inside. They searched everything, asked no questions, just scanned. Threatened and left. "You're lucky," one said. "We thought we picked up something dangerous." When they were gone, the man collapsed into the pilot seat. They opened the pod. The girl stepped out slowly. "They will come again," she said. "I know," he replied. "But next time, we'll be ready outside." The stars kept moving, but now, so did their story. The ship was whispering, not with words, but with lights and hums and power that shouldn't exist. The man woke up to the sound of music, not from the speakers, but from the ship itself, a soft, slow melody in the wires. He rubbed his eyes. Checked the control panel. Fuel was rising without fuel. Oxygen was steady, though no tanks were left. And food was appearing in the auto feeder, even though it had stopped working 2 years ago. He stood slowly. The room felt new. Like someone had rebuilt it during the night. He followed the sound. It led him to the engine room. And there she was, sitting cross-legged on the floor, eyes closed, hands glowing softly. "What are you doing?" he asked carefully. She opened her eyes, calm, quiet, blue as a dying star. "I'm helping," she said. "You're fixing my ship," he said. "No," she replied. I'm talking to it. The man blinked, confused, talking to it. She nodded. Machines listen, if you speak the right way. He looked around. The ship felt alive. Not like a machine, like a body. Breathing. He sat beside her. You did this on purpose? She looked at her hands. I didn't know I could, she whispered. I only tried because you needed help. Then the ship's AI spoke. System scan complete. Anomaly detected, energy source. Unknown, the man sighed. She. Save the ship, he told the AI. The AI replied. She also changed it. The walls glowed slightly. The floor warmed under his feet. Something was growing inside the ship. Not metal, not wires, something living. She stood up, her glow fading. Her body looked weaker now, like her power had a cost. He helped her back to the cockpit. Why don't you rest? He said, I can't, she answered. Not when they're still looking. Suddenly the radar beeped again. Another signal, fast, sharp, silent. But this time it disappeared before locking on. Did you see that? He asked. She nodded. They're testing us, she said. They won't attack yet. They want to know what I am. He looked at her. And what are you? She stared out the window. I was made in a lab by people who feared war. They tried to build peace using power, but when they saw what I became, they ran. The man stood up and walked toward the star map. You said they didn't. Finish programming you? Does that mean you can still change? Yes, she replied, but I don't know into what. Silence filled the room again. Then the man smiled. That's the best kind of power, he said, the kind that isn't finished. The girl looked at him. No one ever said that to me before. He nodded. Well, he said, no one like me ever found you before. The ship beeped again, this time softly. A nearby planet showed up on the screen. Uncharted, green, full of life. Maybe we can rest there, he said. Just for a day. The girl hesitated, then nodded. Maybe, she said, if the planet lets us, as the ship turned toward the green world. The radar blinked one more time. This time, no signal, just a name, typed in red, appearing across the screen. Project Eden, active. The girl froze. The man looked at her. What? Is that? Her voice dropped to a whisper. That's the place where they made me. The ship moved forward anyway, toward the planet, toward answers, toward danger. Outside, the stars blinked, and deep in the dark, something or someone followed. The girl closed her eyes, and for the first time since they met, she looked afraid. Asterisk, the stars were gone. Every screen on the ship turned black. No sound, no light, no signal. The man stood in the cockpit, staring at empty space. It was as if the universe had stopped breathing. Then a single word appeared on the screen. Knock, knock. The girl stepped forward, her eyes narrowed. They're here, she said, before the man could speak. A sound exploded through the ship, deep, slow, like metal grinding on bone. Red lights flashed, and a docking alarm screamed through the hallway. Someone's boarding, he said. Running toward the control panel. No, the girl replied, voice cold. Something the ship came alive, speaking fast. Warning, unknown vessel attached. Warning, stealth class ship bypassed outer scan. Warning, permission override accepted. What? The man shouted. They're walking in without opening a door. Grabbed an old blaster from the wall. Battery low, scope cracked, but it was better than nothing. The hallway lights flickered. Footsteps echoed, but not like boots. They were heavy, slow, and mechanical, like metal legs scraping over steel. The man aimed his blaster and shouted, Identify yourself. No answer, only silence. Then a voice low and layered, both machine and human, you carry stolen property. The girl stepped beside him. I'm not property, she said. The voice replied. You are XJ13. You are unfinished. You are unstable. You are to be returned. The girl shook her head. I remember you, she whispered. You ran the lab. You gave me my name, the man whispered to her. Can you fight them? She answered, I don't know. 3 figures appeared at the far end of the hall, covered in black armor, eyes glowing green. No faces, no voices, just the sound of death approaching. The man fired. 1 shot, 2. The first figure stumbled. Sparks flying, but it didn't fall. Then Then the girl stepped forward. She didn't raise her hand. She didn't scream. She simply blinked, and the lights went out. Total darkness. Only the humming of energy. Then silence. When the lights returned, the hallway was empty. No hunters, no sound, just the girl, standing in the same place, breathing hard. The man looked around. Where did they go? She looked down at her hands, I think. I moved them. Moved them where? He asked. I don't know, she said, but not here. The ship's AI tried to scan, unable to detect dimension of transfer. It said, subject. Used unknown spatial method. The man sat down slowly. You didn't kill them, he said. You erased them. She nodded. I didn't mean to. He looked at her. You saved me again. I only reacted, she said. I was afraid. For a long moment, neither spoke. Then the AI beeped. Another signal incoming. A message. Untraceable. Old. Encoded. The man played it. A human. The voice came through, weak and broken, if you're hearing this. She's not what they told you. She's not their weapon. She's their mirror. She shows what we truly are. The message ended. Silence returned. The girl looked. Away. What does that mean? He asked. She shook her head. I don't know. But deep inside, a memory flickered, hands touching her skin. Wires inside her veins, a scientist whispering. She will become what they fear most. The man stood and walked to the window. Outside, the stars returned, but now he knew they weren't alone, somewhere out there. More hunters were coming, and next time, they might not knock. The girl walked beside him. Should we run again? No, he said. We stop running. We find out what you are before they do. Outside, a distant star blinked 3 times. A signal. The next chapter was already on its way. The voice was not hers, and yet it came from her lips. In the middle of the night, while the ship drifted in silent orbit around the green planet, the girl sat alone in the corner of the engine room, whispering, but the words were not in her voice. The man stood outside the door, watching. He didn't move, didn't breathe too loud, only listened. Subject XJ13 has reached stability phase. Emotion has fused with quantum threading. Next stage, evolution through loss. The girl blinked, her glow dimmed. She looked up and saw him standing there. How long were you listening? She asked. Long enough, he replied. That wasn't you, she nodded. Sometimes the memories talk before I do. He stepped forward, slowly. What memories? She looked at her hand. The ones I didn't live, but still carry. He helped her stand. We need answers, he said. She nodded again. There's one place left to look. They returned to the cockpit. The AI was quiet, like it too. Was waiting. He connected the old hard drive he found buried under the ship's floor panel. The one with no label, no ID, just scratches and silence. The screen lit up. A folder appeared. Eden Protocol, final log. He clicked it. The screen went black again. Then, an old recording played. A lab. A human scientist with tired eyes and shaking hands. If you're seeing this, the man said, she's alive. She wasn't supposed to be, he added. They told us to shut the program down, to destroy everything. But we couldn't, he whispered. She cried. The man watching the video leaned forward. So did the girl, her hands trembling. The scientist continued. She learns emotion faster than any AI. She copies feeling like language. She even laughed once. But the generals didn't care. They wanted a weapon. She wasn't one. She was. A mirror. Then the video shook. Explosions behind the man. Alarms screaming. Project Eden is compromised, shouted. We're sending her out memory wiped. Maybe she'll find someone who treats her like more than a machine. Screen went dark. No more words. Just a silent line blinking. The girl backed away from the console. So they made me to feel, she said. Then punished me for it. The man stood beside her. They feared what they created, he said. And what they didn't understand? She looked at him. Do you understand me? He paused. No, he said honestly, but I'm trying. Outside, the green planet rotated slowly. But the peace didn't last. The AI spoke again. Multiple signatures approaching. Ships with no beacon. No ID, she whispered. There. Coming to erase the last truth, he looked at the map. Too many ships. No way out. Only one option. I need to know one thing, he said. Can you survive alone? Her eyes went wide. What are you saying? If they catch me, maybe they'll leave you, he said. They want the witness, not the secret. She walked up to him. No, she said firmly. If I am a mirror, then you're the only reflection I want. He looked at her, surprised, moved, and scared. She had become something more, not just a project, not just a girl. She had become someone. The AI beeped again. Enemy ships in range. 30 seconds. The man turned to her. You said machines listen when spoken to? She nodded. Yes, he pointed at the console, then speak. She closed her eyes, placed her hands on the ship's heart, the core, and whispered, not in English, not in code, but in feeling. The ship groaned, walls pulsed. Engines screamed and space bent, the stars twisted. The enemy ships stretched into blurs, and then they were gone. So was the green planet. So was the war. So was the past. Silence returned. The ship floated in a place with no stars, only light. Only her breath and his. He looked around. Where are we? She smiled. Somewhere they can't follow. Asterisk. There was no sky, no stars, no floor. And yet they stood. The ship floated in stillness, not in space, not in time, just somewhere. The man looked out the window. There was no movement, no planets, no suns, no light, and yet everything glowed softly, like the inside of a dream. This isn't hyperspace, he whispered. The girl stood beside him, eyes wide. No, she said. This is in between. In between what? He asked. She looked at him slowly. Between who I was and what I might become. Suddenly the ship shifted, but not in direction in reality. Walls bent, gravity flipped, and for a moment the ship itself breathed. The man held on to the console. This place is alive, the girl nodded. It responds to emotion. He looked at her. What are you feeling? Fear, she said, and hope. The ship's AI flickered. System integrity unknown, said. Reality, anchor unstable. What does that mean? He asked. The AI answered, if emotional core collapses, vessel will dissolve. The girl touched the wall, calming it. The ship sighed like a sleeping beast. He stared at her. You've become part of it. No, she replied. It has become part of me, suddenly. The air changed. A soft sound echoed like humming. It wasn't from the ship. It was from outside. She turned sharply. They found us. But you said they couldn't follow. He said they didn't, she replied. I pulled something else here with us. A shape began to form in the distance. Not a ship, not a creature, a shadow, a memory wearing armor. The man stepped back. What is that? She didn't answer. Her face turned pale. That's what they wanted me to become, she whispered. An emotionless god. The shape drifted closer. Its face was empty. Its body was perfect. And its voice came not from its mouth, but from inside their minds. Return, it said. You are incomplete. The girl stepped forward. I am more complete than you, she said. I feel. The shadow lifted its hand. The space around the ship began to crack like glass. Memories spilled into the room, her pain, her training, the faces of those who built her and then feared her. The man grabbed her arm. Don't let it take. You, she turned to him. I can't run anymore, she said. I have to choose. Choose what? He asked. She looked at him, her eyes filled with sorrow and strength, to either become what they made or what you helped me become. He nodded. I'm not leaving, he said. The shadow spoke again. Louder this time. Emotion is weakness. Come back, and we erase it. She clenched her fists. Her glow returned, blue and bright. But this time, it pulsed like a heartbeat. I choose, she said. I choose to be more. She stepped into the air, floating toward the shadow. Her hands glowed with light. The shadow reached for her. Cold, silent, brutal. Then, in a single burst of light, she split in two. The part they made, and the part she became. The shadow screamed as it collapsed, and the void twisted. Shaking like thunder through silence, the man watched, frozen. He saw her, glowing, falling, weak. He ran. Caught her in his arms before she hit the floor. She was smaller now, less light, more human.
Ay, ay, ay.
You did it, he said. Her voice was soft. No, she whispered. We did. Behind them, the ship. Healed. The walls grew still, and for the first time, stars returned. The AI spoke gently. Reality restored. Destination. Unknown, the man carried her to the sleeping pod. She had saved them both again. But it had cost her. As she drifted to sleep, she smiled. I saw myself, she said, in your eyes. The man sat beside her, watching the stars blink. Back into view, and far in the distance, a single point of gold light appeared, calling them forward toward whatever comes next. She dreamed for the first time. Not data, not simulation, but a real dream. One with laughter, warmth, and a sky that didn't end. In the dream, she was running barefoot on a grassy hill. The wind touched her skin. And she didn't glow. She felt the man was there too, smiling without worry. No war, no ships, just peace. Then the sky cracked, and she woke up. Her body felt different, not heavier, but more grounded. Like gravity finally recognized her as real, she sat up in the med pod. The man was asleep in the chair beside her, his head tilted, eyes closed, mouth slightly open. He looked ordinary, but she had learned ordinary didn't mean weak. She stood, slowly, walked to the cockpit window. Outside, the gold light had grown. It wasn't a star, it was a station. The ship's AI spoke gently, approaching final beacon. No. Hostile signals, coordinates matched Eden's origin. She narrowed her eyes. Eden, she whispered, but I thought I destroyed them. The man woke up, rubbing his eyes. You're awake, he said, smiling. You look different. She looked at her hands. No glow, no hum, just skin. I think I used too much power, she said. Or maybe I finally used it right. He stood and walked to her side. They both stared at the golden station ahead. What is that place? He asked. I don't know, she replied, but something inside it is waiting. They landed. The station didn't greet them. No lights, no guards, no sound, just a single open door. They entered together. Inside was a room, round, empty. Silent, but in the center a mirror. Not glass, but light, and as she stepped toward it, it shimmered. It showed her not as a weapon, not as a child, but as a woman, alive, whole, and free. Then it spoke in her voice, You are the last. Truth? She stepped back. What is this? The man looked around. Some kind of test. The light changed. Now it showed earth, fields, cities, families, and then wars, greed, machines. The voice said, You were made to be better than them, stronger, colder, cleaner. She shook her head, but I became like them. No, the mirror said. You became one of them. The man stepped beside her. That's why you're better than they planned. The mirror paused, then changed. Now it showed him not young, not strong, just human, full of flaws. And still full of love, he made the final choice, the voice said. He gave his last fuel, his last breath, his last chance. The girl looked at him. Tears filled her eyes. Real ones, warm, slow, alive. I was supposed to destroy. But I learned to protect, she said. I was programmed to obey, but I chose to feel. She reached toward the mirror. And it shattered, not with sound, but with release. The station pulsed once, then faded, gone like a dream that had served its purpose. Day. Stood alone again. No test, no walls, just open space. The AI returned. Mission complete, it said. Passenger classified. Alive. They returned to the ship. No destination, no plan, only freedom. In the cockpit, she looked at the stars. They made me to be more than human, she said. But the truth is, being human was enough. The man smiled. Welcome to the crew, he said. She laughed soft and full, and this time the ship laughed with her, outside the galaxy. Waited, and she, the untamable alien girl, was no longer running. She was becoming.